Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain how to appoint corporate officers for your corporation, step by step. Corporate officers are the key people who handle the daily operations and management of a corporation. They bring the decisions made by the board of directors to life. Knowing how to properly appoint them is essential to keeping your business organized and legally compliant. Let's go through how this process works from start to finish in detail. First, let's clarify what corporate officers actually are. In most corporations, officers typically include the president or CEO, vice president, secretary, and treasurer or CFO. These roles can vary slightly depending on your bylaws and the state your corporation is registered in, but their purpose is the same: to manage the business on behalf of the shareholders and under the authority of the board of directors. The president oversees the overall business, the secretary maintains corporate records, and the treasurer handles the company's finances. Now, before appointing officers, the corporation must have a board of directors in place. The directors are elected by shareholders, usually at the first organizational meeting after the corporation is formed. The board is responsible for setting major company policies, approving decisions like issuing stock, and, importantly, appointing the corporate officers. So the appointment of officers is officially done by the board, not by the shareholders directly. Once the board is ready to appoint officers, they will usually hold a board meeting or sign a written consent authorizing the appointments. If it's a formal meeting, the board will discuss which individuals are best suited for each officer position. Then they'll vote on the appointments. The results of this vote are recorded in the meeting minutes, which serve as the official documentation of the officer's appointments. In that meeting or resolution, the board should clearly state the name of each officer, their title, and their specific duties. For example, Jane Doe is hereby appointed as President and Chief Executive Officer, responsible for overall corporate strategy and daily management. This helps define the chain of command and ensures everyone understands their roles and responsibilities within the organization. After the appointments are approved, the secretary should update the corporate's official records. This includes recording the officers' names and titles in the corporate minute book, updating the bylaws if necessary, and filing any required forms with the state. Some states require corporations to list their officers in their annual report or on the state's business portal, so it's important to check those requirements to stay compliant. It's also good practice to draft officer agreements, short documents that outline the terms of employment or engagement for each officer. These can include compensation details, performance expectations, confidentiality clauses, and terms for removal or resignation. While not always legally required, these agreements provide clarity and protect both the corporation and the officer from potential misunderstandings. Now let's talk about qualifications and eligibility. Most states don't have strict qualifications for corporate officers. They can be shareholders, directors, or even people outside the corporation. In small corporations, it's common for one person to hold multiple officer positions, like being both the president and treasurer. However, for larger corporations, it's better to separate these roles to ensure accountability and better management. Once appointed, officers are responsible for carrying out their duties as defined by the bylaws and the board of directors. The president or CEO typically oversees daily business operations, executes contracts, and represents the corporation publicly. The secretary maintains meeting minutes, corporate records, and ensures all filings are up to date. The treasurer or CFO manages budgets, oversees financial reporting, and ensures tax compliance. Each officer must act in the best interest of the corporation and its shareholders, following what's known as fiduciary duty, which means acting honestly, in good faith, and with care. Over time, you might need to change or replace corporate officers. This can happen if someone resigns, retires, or the board decides to reorganize leadership. In that case, the board would hold another meeting or sign a new resolution to remove and appoint new officers. The change should again be documented in meeting minutes and reported in state filings or annual reports if required. Finally, it's important to keep officer information up to date both internally and with the state. Whenever officers change, update your corporate records immediately. This ensures your corporation remains in good standing and avoids issues with future filings, taxes, or banking activities. So, to recap, appointing corporate officers involves establishing your board of directors, holding a meeting or signing a resolution to select officers, recording the appointments in your minutes, updating corporate and state records, and clearly defining each officer's role and responsibility. By following these steps carefully, you'll ensure your corporation has a solid management structure, a clear chain of authority, and legal compliance, all of which are essential for smooth operations and long-term success. Subscribe to the channel for more videos.